Today we need to get into people saying that RM said F you to HYBE and what that is about. We also need to get into people saying that V should leave HYBE after a movie or a documentary aired in Israel. Then we have Bang PD potentially being in danger and people fearing that he might need medical attention. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on and make sure you're joining us fangirling on Patreon, and let's go. We need to get into Bang being threatened and what happened with that. Now, if you're unaware, Bang PD has recently been getting a lot of backlash. Now, if you're unaware of who he is, he was the former CEO of the label. I don't believe he's a CEO anymore. I believe he stepped down, and he currently just works in one of the divisions as a producer to help make music. So I also just want to say that because of that, I don't think that the hate that he is getting is warranted, as he may not have as much control as he used to. Now, when a label or company goes public and they have shareholders, the founder of that person that may originally have had a lot of power in the company, their power and even their shares in the company get diluted, and they basically don't have as much power as they used to. So since the founder Bang PD has stepped down as CEO, a lot of that power has gone to someone else. And while he still has the right to vote on things, whether he agrees with things or doesn't agree with things, he doesn't get the final say. It's still a matter of a popular vote, and the popular vote will win. And so if he is on the opposing side of the popular vote, he's not going to get his opinion through, even though he owned the company before. Of course, this means that a lot of the decisions the company has made isn't entirely completely up to him, and a lot of what they may do to grow the company, which may be seen as growth at all costs, are things that he has to do and also things that are not really in his power, because the shareholders and all that stuff probably want the company to grow at all costs. So there's a lot of backlash with him, and so recently, even though there was something that happened that was a bit of a joke, I don't take it lightly as it seems a bit threatening, and a lot of people have their opinions on this, and I will include my opinion as well. There was recently a fan meet that was done via video call, and in the fan meet there was a moment in which one fan met up with a member from HYBE. This person met up with Sunu, who is this really bubbly person, and we can see clearly why he has such loyal supporters. The particular fan that went to the video call to talk about how she plans to only support one person, and that is him, she went on to say that he hopes that he will have more parts in future releases or whatever it is, and that if Sunu doesn't have more parts in the future, that she is going to essentially hurt Bang PD, or what she demonstrated in the video call was ripping up a picture of him. That's a pretty violent action in my book. I mean, if someone rips up a picture of someone in a very angry way, in a threatening way, that's pretty much a sign of wanting to hurt them. That's like drawing a huge X on their face and like in a red marker or something. People have very mixed feelings about this, but people think that Sunu dealt with the situation in a very professional way. I think people, when they hear that someone that has been media trained, they don't get as surprised when that someone who is media trained answers in a very intelligent way. However, even being media trained, they only train you on how to answer questions in a specific way for specific situations. They don't tell you how to deal with every single situation ever, because how do you prepare someone for every situation ever? Many people were then concerned if Bang PD is going to be okay amidst sort of the backlash that's been happening recently, and of course seeing stuff that is being talked about online where people are actually being somewhat aggressive towards him. The bottom line is someone's part or lack of part in a music video or song has nothing to do with the CEO or whoever. It more so has to do with how the song sounds. If someone listens to the song, whether that be a producer or whatever, decides that one person might fit the style of the song better, they're going to then take that person's voice and put them ahead of everyone else. We see this with groups and people all the time, where there'll be a long time where it's just one member that's taking the lead or whatever, and then when the group does something a little bit different or new, or tries out a new style, maybe a new member kind of takes the lead and does that. For a while we had BTS back when they first debuted. We had more of the rap line sort of working overtime, if you will, as the group kind of grew, and then you had the vocal line kind of take more of a front seat and the rap line kind of taking more of a back seat. And then we even had Permission to Dance and Dynamite, where Jin, I think, got a bit more lines for those songs. So it's not a malicious thing of, oh, we don't like that member, so we're going to give them less lines. It's whoever fits the song the best. Of course, does this mean that everything that the label does, that all the members of every group are going to agree with and not be upset about? Absolutely not. With the company that big, with a company that has that many employees and that many moving parts, they're bound to do something that's not going to be loved by some people in the company. That's pretty normal. And the company isn't owned by one person that's making a decision. So it's not like the BTS members, if they object to something, they can just go up to one person and tell them, hey, we don't like this, can you change it? Now they have to go up to like 50 other people on the board and all this other stuff to make a decision. And that's just how companies work. And it's not even just that. If a company leader or one of the company leaders takes action without letting everyone else know, there could be a huge lawsuit on their hands. So recently there's been a rise of AI stuff. We all know this. It's pretty much everywhere, and we know that when something gets big or something that gets seen that could potentially make a lot of money, it's a pretty good bet that a company or a lot of companies and a lot of people are going to try to make money off of it because it's trending and it's new. So recently the label announced that they will be releasing an AI thing. This thing is called Supertone Shift, and from what I gather, from what the goal of this company and what the label is trying to do with it is that users can go on the app, record a voice thing for like 10 seconds with a specific character, and then that character can then be used in a video game or something. But it's supposed to be an AI thing where they take your voice and then they can use your voice with like the tone and all that stuff that sounds like you and put it into a game to make the character say whatever they want the character to say. There are some objections to this, and people were referencing a time in which they think RM talked about AI before. RM had a song a little while ago called All Day, and in the lyrics he basically said F you to AI. Of course, AI is a big concern. AI is a big concern with art in general, and if people are even ever going to be making music anymore in the future, or if it's just going to be all robots. So I can understand what he was trying to say in that particular song by saying that. And as I said, like, people in the label are not necessarily going to agree with every little action that the company tries to take. But assume that every time a label takes action, it's to help the company grow. And I really hate this idea where people like to harp on the fact that a company making money is a really terrible thing, because a company making money and growing year after year is the end-all be-all for a company. And a company with thousands of employees, and if they're not growing year after year, then they're going to go bankrupt. And the thousands of people in the company are literally going to not have a job. The business term is to literally grow at all costs. Money, wanting success, wanting all those things is not a bad thing. It really depends on how far they're taking it. And in my opinion, they're not taking it to the point where they're killing people to get money, which of course brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. If you're unaware, there's been a movie screening in Israel. This is for Suga's documentary, and it's a concert movie. Now, people have been protesting for a really long time, and when the documentary finally aired in Israel, people were very unhappy about it, saying that they can't believe it actually aired, and there's a lot of things that I have to say about this. First off, a lot of people were saying that V specifically should just go ahead and leave, and that he should just officially file to never be with the label again. And other people were saying things like HYBE is supporting the people in Israel who are killing people. Now, I was seeing comments of people online saying that the label is allowing the murderers in Israel to find comfort in BTS by allowing it to air there. Now, for that, I want to give my opinion and say this. Do you actually think that the people who are out there killing other people are the ones sitting in the theater watching BTS? The people who are committing murder and killing kids, doing all those horrible things that everyone is saying that they're doing, they're going to a theater and watching BTS? Does that actually make sense? No, they're probably going out to kill more people. They're not sitting in a movie theater enjoying anything. A lot of these comments don't come from reality. And also now we're just justifying this idea of hating an entire race of people. These comments are also insinuating that anyone and everyone that is from Israel, that is sitting in those theaters right now, that are watching, that are almost going to go to those theaters, that are in their house, maybe not even watching the movie, are all killers. Every single person that is from Israel. That is what this comment is saying. Is that accurate? Are we really now going down a path where we are re-inciting this hate to Jewish people and re-inciting this severe anti-Semitism? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.